Today we'll be looking at the APC's choice of consensus and internal democracy. It's something we touched on very slightly while we were doing the newspaper review, and I was saying that I'm not a fan of this consensus thing, but okay, it's time for us to look at that. Okpayemi you'll be throwing more light on this for us. APC's choice of consensus and internal democracy. What's your take on this?
I think the Constitution allows political parties to choose their candidate however way they want. It used to be either the indirect primaries, where we had the use of delegates, which was super expensive and heavily monetized. I remember the 2007 presidential primaries of the People's Democratic Party. I was in Abuja to cover the primaries of the PDP, and it was so monetized that you can literally smell money everywhere. So you have former governors, former senators fighting to be delegates because of the monies. In fact, there were words that the 2022 convention of both the APC and the PDP had, hundreds of thousands of dollars being thrown around by the aspirants during the primary. So people would come back from convention or political parties and they'll come back as millionaires because they've gotten monies as delegates.
Yeah.
Just a privileged and selected few, which I think contradicts internal democracy in its entirety. So, when the Electoral Act was amended for 2026, it was removed that there can't be indirect primaries anymore. So, it's either direct or consensus. Direct on its own part is very expensive. What that means is that every registered member of a political party, financial member of a political party, has the right to choose who will become the candidate of those parties. So it's a very open one. I remember the primaries of Governor Abiodun Oyebanjo of Ekiti State. It was a direct primary, so people had to queue behind their candidate. So that was more like a regular election. And the parties are saying that is way too expensive. We cannot go through that process when we have 36 states and they want to choose the presidential candidate of the party, and then the same process will have to be repeated in all of the 36 states. So the issue of consensus came up. I understand the concerns of a lot of people as regards killing internal democracy. And again, I think it places the options very open. Political parties have their internal mechanisms, same way they have their party constitutions and things that guide their operation. So if the leadership of the party says that, see, we don't want a distraction of primaries where people will get angry and leave the party, or people will get angry and take the party to court and challenge the outcome of primaries, or people will feel disgruntled that, oh, the regular process was not done. Everybody that has interest in this particular seat, let's come on a round table. You want to be governor, we are zoning these governorship tickets to this zone. So if it does not fall in line with your zone, it automatically takes you out of the conversation. That's the process of consensus. It's not like they impose one person. Well, maybe, ideally, I'm going through the process. Okay, if now you are within the zone, within this same zone, your senatorial district had produced a governor before, this senatorial district have not produced. Okay, that rules you out. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? That's the process. Okay, we have 5 people. 2 people have been ruled out. 3 people are coming from the same zone. But they now say, listen, this person has political experience. He has the financial war chest to go into an election with us. Then they look at the popularity rating. You gauge it. And look at the people that went into the primaries or that will have gone into the primaries in Ogun State. All I'm looking on Yayi is, and this is not hype for Senator Yayi. This is the numbers that we are putting on the table. Yeah, he's obviously the most popular of all the aspirants on that political
But even
party.
though he's the most popular, don't you think that he has been imposed? Because I don't think that everybody will be in agreement. Perhaps some monetary exchange
may
would
have gone
in between to soothe the minds and the hearts of people. But I think that that's not. It's not really, doesn't allow for inclusivity. Do you understand? The competition, it undermines the principles of fairness, transparency within the party.
I understand where you're coming from. I'm also of the opinion that victories that are fought for are more appreciated and valued. I've been
True.
into a lot of elections as, undergraduate, university campus, student leader and all of that. I understand that people will come with the option, oh, I'll step down for you, but when you are choosing your committee member, you give me the opportunity, I'll present so and so can. I'm like, no, let's go to the field. I will rub it to you at your back that that's the guy I defeated in an election. It's sweeter that way. But external politics and mainstream politics, it has a lot of lobbying and agenda and sacrifice in code. So they said, listen, you want to contest for this election, but the leadership of the party feels that this person is more popular, is more suitable, the zoning formula fits his profile, then he has the financial, whether we like it or not. Money is important in politics. I hate the fact that Nigerian politics have been so heavily monetized, but we cannot take us from the reality of the fact that you need billions of naira to become a governor in this country. And I'm saying this again right on national TV, that to become a president in Nigeria, you cannot spend any less than trillions of naira to become a president in this country. And that's a fact. You mobilize across the 36 states of the federation, you mobilize across the 774 local governments, over 187,000 units in this country. You would have agents at every polling unit during the presidential election. That's a lot of money. You campaign across states, you fly, you move in convoy across state, you hire private jets, you lodge your entourage in an hotel, you fuel your cars, you provide security, you distribute materials for election, you pay when you visit people, the stakeholders, the traditional rulers, the interest group, the market women, the youth leaders, you give them something when you are leaving. So elections are not cheap in Nigeria. So they weigh the options. The party cannot finance an election. The members of the party finances the operations of the party. So if you have an ambition, how much are you ready to put on the table to persecute this war chest? That is a major concern. That is a standard in all of these negotiations. It may look undemocratic, which I think is undemocratic, but the politics involved means that, listen, we will give you the deputy governorship slots to nominate. Okay, when we get into office, you give us 5 commissioners. Don't worry, I'll make sure that you are the one that will nominate the chief of staff to the governor. Oh, don't worry. The rural electrification project that will be embarked on, we cede all of those things to you. All of those things are placed on the table. I've not been privileged to be in a
circle
where consensus is being taken, as a decision is being taken. But we have conversation with these people. These are the people
allow
that
the minority to, there's no debate, there's no expression, there's
at that top level, emotions don't count. What really counts is the result at the end of the day. How do we win an election? We're speaking from an ideal society, how things should be done. Everyone that has an interest should come out and exercise their interest. It's a constitutional right to your franchise, right to vote and be voted for. But I'm talking as a realist. How elections work in Nigeria. This is not an emotional bank. It's a table of facts. And when there are negotiations for consensus, all the factors are placed on the table. So they will tick the boxes. They will eliminate, 10 candidates. There are some people that even coming into the contest, they know they don't have a chance.
Do you think with a consensus, it will enhance efficiency?
No. Consensus probably does not always bring out the best of candidates, because most times the best of candidates don't win election in Nigeria. Because the best of candidates don't have money to persecute elections in Nigeria. It's as simple as that. Ideally, it may be wrong, but in reality, what we have on the table is that Nigerians' democracy is so monetized that people sell properties to contest for political offices. People take loans in banks to contest for political offices. It's that deep. So when you get into office, you're asking yourself, there was a reps member that said he spent almost 500 million to defend his mandate. Reps member. House of Reps member in one of the southeast states, not to persecute an election. His opponent took him to court. He said he spent almost 500 million to defend his mandate. So that's the question. So when we say consensus, it could be undemocratic. It could probably not produce the best of candidates. But the truth is this: parties have a way of managing their internal democracy. As long as the constitution allows it, as long as the rule book allows it, I don't think there's anything wrong realistically with consensus. Ideally, in a democracy, it may be wrong. But in reality and the practice of politics in Nigeria, consensus is the easiest way of political parties saying that let us manage our issues. We've seen situations where the fallout of political party primaries would eventually make sure that those parties don't field candidates, because a faction will say, no, this wrong faction produced the candidate. It happened in Zamfara. It happened in Plateau State. It happened in so many other states over the last, this new democracy that we have, that a faction in a party will be aggrieved by the outcome of the primaries and they will go to court. At the end of the day, both of them will not field any candidate whatsoever. It happens. So if the political parties are saying we want consensus, one, it is constitutional, it is not against the rule book. Two, the parties can manage their affairs as long as within the laws says that you can choose however way you want to bring out your candidate. And the option is open. We have 20 political parties. If you are not comfortable with the consensus, you can leave and go to the other political party. Unfortunately, the Electoral Act does not allow special purpose vehicles anymore. If you go there, you have to spend 60 days before you can contest on the platform of those political parties, and there's no time. The time frame for the primaries is 26th of April to the 30th of May. So if you leave the APC today because you are aggrieved, you cannot go anywhere. Professor Iyabo Obasanjo released a statement yesterday, openly endorsing Senator Lamilekon Yayi. She was also part of the aspirant for the governorship ticket of the state.
She's been quite visible recently.
She decamped to the APC and she said APC is a natural home. She's been with all the moves of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, Dapa Abiodun. She's been very vocal. Newspapers are running PR for her. We understand all of those gimmicks. But I told my friend, I said, I don't know if Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu wants to empower the daughter of Obasanjo to become the governor of Ogun State. These are politics, not emotions. These are the realities of what we live with every single day. So if the APC says they want consensus, they don't want to have issues as a fallout of the primaries, if the candidate or the aspirant agrees to that, then we should go to the field. I don't think there's anything constitutionally wrong with consensus.
No, I have not said there's anything wrong in, but, I just believe, all the jingle bells around politicking and all of that is not really felt. You know what I'm saying? But is there anything constitutionally wrong? Of course, I'm educated enough to know that there's absolutely nothing constitutionally wrong with it. But it would have, been nice to have all the confusion, all the exchange of words. These are the things that, help make the news, this person attacking that person and all of that, it makes it sweeter.
Because of how our politics is structured, oftentimes the election itself is during the primaries. Because most times, ruling party would always have their ways of winning elections anyways.
Perhaps even if we don't see this in the APC, perhaps we'll see it in some other parties. Let's
I'm not sure.
Let's
watch. Is it the PDP that wants to do primaries?
Let's watch as it
PDP that don't even have candidates.
Let's watch as it unfolds. Never say never. But you are the one saying that this is Nigeria. In Nigeria, anything can happen, oh.
Yes, nobody is denying that fact that anything can happen in Nigeria. What I'm basically saying is that you put the numbers on the table.
From what you can see now, it doesn't look like it's possible. But with politics,
maybe the ADC can make a difference, and I will be very proud.
That's why I said. If the ADC, that's why I said if the
ADC as the coalition can go into a proper primaries. Okay, for the presidential candidate, there's Atiku Abubakar, there's Rotimi Amechi, there's Peter Obi, there's probably Rabi Musa Kwakwaso. Everybody should go to the polls and run a primaries election.
No, not everybody. Aregbesola shouldn't even come out.
No, Aregbesola is leave Baba.
The man should not. No, don't say everybody, because we have to be specific. We really have to be specific
so that we see the contenders on the pretenders.
From the shaft.
Leave Baba. Baba is the national secretary of the ADC. But more than anything else, I think I'm more interested in the integrity of the election. I'm probably not even really.
On more serious, that's the truth.
I just want the general election to be free, credible, and fair, to give everyone a level playing ground. And that should be the demand. Whatever happens within political parties is their problem. If you take those cases to court, the court will tell you that pre-election matters. What I'm concerned about is when all the 20 political parties eventually bring out their candidates, would there be a level playground? A candidate that already has 32 governors, that already has about 90 senators, that already has about 265 House of Reps members, that already has 44 cabinet members and ministers, ambassadors, head of agencies, ministries, and departments. Does he provide a level playing ground? That also appointed the chairman of the INEC that would organize his own election.
Correct. It
They
doesn't
also
provide a
appoint.
level
That's
playing
what I'm
ground.
saying.
The
Those are
same,
bigger
the same party
concerns.
that has all the billboards.
You are the one
You have
that
already
appointed the
broken
chairman of
your
INEC,
campaign.
the Inspector General of Police,
I don't get
the
it.
head of NURTW that will distribute both sensitive and non-sensitive materials, the CBN governor that is in charge of the electoral materials. We're not insinuating anything. We're
No,
just
we're
saying
not.
that those are supposed to be bigger concerns. Leave consensus. Let's question why I would be a judge in my own case. While I want to play a football match and I will choose the referees that will officiate the game, why should the president be choosing the chairman
But
of INEC?
I need to bring you back. I cannot leave consensus because that's a topic for discussion, and that's why I'm putting it on the table. It's not something that I thought of. It's not something that I just wanted to say, but it's something that was scheduled for us to discuss. And so we can't say leave consensus. What we would rather say is that consensus should not really be the big deal.
That's what I'm
should not
saying.
Really, yeah.
The bigger concern should be the transparency of the election
picture.
itself.
And really, I'm looking forward to seeing what the ADC will do. On a more serious note now, we have so many people in there, so many big wigs in there, and I don't know which way it's going to play out. As you know, I am not comparing one party to the other, so I'm giving every party a chance. I'm really looking to see what will happen in the ADC with people like all the names we've mentioned, the Aregbesolas, the Kwakwansos, the Amechis, Obi, Atiku, and everybody. I don't know how they're going to run, because I can already see a post on social media, and it has Peter Obi for president, and it's an ADC thing.
No,
so perhaps,
there are a lot of,
so that for me, that's the kind of thing I want to see.
there are a lot of permutations going on.
Exactly. That's what makes it interesting.
There is the option of the Peter Obi, Rabi Musa Kwakwaso. So they said it's POKO. There's a consensus, there's a conversation around Atiku Abubakar and Peter Obi. There's Rotimi Amechi and Rabi Musa Kwakwaso. There's Peter Obi, Rabi Musa Kwakwaso. There's Atiku Abubakar and Amechi. All of those conversations are on the table. That's why I hope that the ADC
Who is Aregbesola coming up with?
Who is Aregbesola again?
What did you say?
Who is Aregbesola? He's not a presidential aspirant.
Oh, he's a
disgruntled politician that is now the national secretary of the main coalition. Okay, so back to what we were saying. At the end of the day, I'm hoping that the ADC will do a proper primaries, whereby people will be able to come out and say, we ran against each other, but whoever emerges from the primaries, whatever the outcome of the primaries is, will we support that candidate? That is the key word.
So that's the kind of thing that
we're hoping that the ADC will do.
Now look at you and I sitting down and saying, oh, well, it may be so and so and so. It may. That's the excitement. Don't you feel kind of excited?
Because we're looking forward to it. But those are the things that consensus denies you. And like I said,
precisely.
I'm not saying consensus is the best option.
And we're not saying it is bad, but we're saying that
parties can manage their internal democracy, but we want to have many options on the table. Let us choose. Since there's direct primaries, I can prefer Iyabo Obasanjo because I want Ogun State to produce the first female governor. That could be the reason for me for want her to win the election. I could feel that because Yewa has not done, they've not produced the governor before in Ogun State. I want them to present. That's why I'm supporting Olamide Konyaya, probably because he has huge political profile around him. So there could be a lot of reasons why I'm putting my options on the table. But again, they are leaders. And so because they said that Luteo Ba Sophie Koseshe. So in that context, there are leaders that can say, this is what we want to do. So the leaders have decided. All the former governors since 1999 till today were at that meeting yesterday, and Prince Dapo Abiodun announced the final decision that Senator Solomon Olamide Konyayi, the chairman Senate Committee on Appropriation, former House of Reps member, former House of Assembly member, is the consensus candidate of the APC in Ogun State. We keep our fingers crossed. Lagos is next.
Lagos.
I don't know.
No, have you started seeing things about Lagos?
No,
I've started seeing
I'm not
things.
seeing father that no go state at the moment.
I've started seeing things on social media. I don't know how far it is
Even
true.
though the Nation already reported that Yayi and Hamzat have gotten the nod,
So
is on the front page of the
it's on
Nation
the front
today.
page. Sorry, not social media.
On the front page of the Nation
yes.
today. But I know, of course, I saw pictures
because
of
don't forget that we had things like
Ambode and maybe Sheyi Tinubu,
and now
maybe
we are
Hamzat, and then it's okay. But Hamzat, the outgoing deputy governor, has been making visitation. He visited the members of the Governance Advisory Council of Lagos, the GAC. Those are the movers and shakers of Lagos politics. He visited all of them yesterday, from Baba Lucy to Alhaji Bush, all of them. We all saw the pictures yesterday. And at the end of the day, I will keep our fingers crossed for Lagos.